If you can master eating more protein, you are guaranteed to lose more weight. I'm gonna explain to you the 3 reasons why more protein equals more weight loss. Then I'm gonna give you 4 ways how you can eat more protein without eating more calories. And last but not least, at the end of the video, I'm actually going to give you my 3 favorite high protein snacks. So stick around for that. The first way more protein leads to more weight loss is it actually increases your metabolism. This is a visual representation of what your metabolism is and essentially how many calories your body burns in a day. So 70% of your daily calorie burn comes from something called your BMR. This is just like how many calories your body is burning at rest. Then 15% comes from something called your NEAT. This just means your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. All of this means is just like, think of it as you're walking and just your daily movement for the day. That is not a dedicated workout. Then up here, 10% comes from your TEF. This just means your thermic effect of food. This means when you eat food, your body has to digest the food, which requires calories being burned. Out of all of the 3 macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, protein has the highest TEF, which means just from eating more protein, you will burn more calories and you will increase your metabolism, which will help you with your weight loss. The second reason is because protein is going to keep you more full. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient. All this means is it is going to keep you the most full. So if you have less hunger, you will have less cravings, you will be able to stick to your calories better, you'll stick to your diet better, which then makes it easier for you to lose weight. If you've ever had a lot of like sweet cravings at night, I promise you, if you do the other 4 things I'm gonna tell you in this video right after this, those sweet cravings at night will massively go away by you eating more protein. So that is the second reason. And the third reason, it is the only macronutrient that is going to help you build and retain lean muscle mass. And this is important because do you remember how I said your metabolism works? 70% of your metabolism came from, I'm gonna write this down for you again, 70% of your metabolism came from something called your BMR. Again, that is just how many calories your body burns at rest. If you have more muscle, you are going to have a higher BMR, which means your metabolism will be higher the more lean muscle mass you have. Not to mention, when you go into a diet, you are at risk of losing muscle. If you lose muscle, you will decrease your metabolism. So being able to keep your protein intake high will ensure you are not only going to keep that metabolism high, which will make weight loss easier, but also you just won't end up as that skinny fat. You know how you like, maybe you see people who they're not overweight, but they're not like toned, they're not defined. This is usually because they do not have enough muscle. So if you're eating high protein, you will get that toned, lean, defined look you are going for. So those are the 3 most important reasons why more protein leads to more weight loss. Now let's talk about the 4 main ways you can actually increase your protein. The first way you are going to eat more protein is going to be incorporating bigger portion sizes of what you are already eating. And I really like this because you don't have to change much of anything. Whenever I coach people inside of my clubhouse, which is just my online coaching program, we always try to find ways that are like the least resistance. What are you already doing and what can we build upon? So the protein you're already eating, just eat it in a little bit of a bigger portion size. And let me explain what this might mean. For example, if you are doing a protein shake, maybe instead of doing 1 scoop of protein powder, you just do 2 scoops of protein powder. For example, this 1 scoop of protein is 22 grams of protein for this. If you did 2 scoops, you would automatically go to 44 grams of protein. Again, you're just increasing the portion size. Or another example would be, let's say you're doing eggs. Don't just do 2 whole eggs. Let's say you do 2 whole eggs and then you do 4 egg whites. Or if you're buying the liquid egg whites, you can buy that as well. You could do like a cup of liquid egg whites. Again, you're just simply eating more. Or if you're doing a chicken breast, for example, you go from eating this much chicken breast to this much chicken breast, simply increasing the portion size. And you might be like, well, Eric, that's going to increase my calories. Hold on. What did we say in the previous part of this? If you eat more protein, you are going to be less hungry. So you'll actually probably decrease the calories over the course of the entire day if you increase the portion sizes of the protein you're already eating. Now, the second way to increase your protein is going to be buying lower fat meat. And what I mean by this is when you go to buy things like ground beef, for example, if you look on the back of your ground beef, it's going to tell you how much dietary fat is in there. If you're buying, let's say, 80-20 ground beef, that is going to be much higher in dietary fat, usually lower in protein and higher in calories. So if, let's say, for example, you buy 93.7 ground beef or 96.4 ground beef, or I know they make like 99.1 ground turkey, which is like, it's a little bit dry, and so I'm not sure if you want to buy it, but nonetheless, you could probably make it taste better. I'm not the best cook. But buying lower fat protein sources, and it doesn't just have to be meat, for example. So let's take this Greek yogurt. This Dannon Light and Fit is incredibly good. To me, it's incredibly good tasting. It has 90 calories per serving, 14 grams of protein, 0 grams of fat. Because it's a little bit lower in dietary fat, it is going to be lower in your overall calories. And a bit of a side quest here, but I think it'll be important to you. For every 1 gram of protein, there is 4 calories. For every 1 gram of carb, there is 4 calories. For every 1 gram of fat, there is 9 calories. And so this is why, generally speaking, if you can buy lower fat protein sources, you're going to have lower calorie protein sources, and you'll be able to eat more of it. Like if this right here, for example, if this was regular whole fat Greek yogurt, I wouldn't be able to eat as much volume of the Greek yogurt because the calories are higher, and I'm trying to stick within my diet, stick within my calorie deficit to lose body fat. So for all those reasons, lower fat protein options, all right? The third way is a great hack I use with all of the clients who come inside of the clubhouse. It is going to be having 1/2 of your protein goal by 2 p.m. And let me explain this one a bit more. If you don't know what your protein goal is, or for that matter, if you don't know what your calorie goal is, there's going to be a free protein and calorie calculator in the description of this video, so you can check that out after this video if you would like to. But let's say you are trying to hit 150 grams of protein per day. By 2 p.m., you would want to get half of that protein goal. You would want to get at least 75 grams of protein by 2 p.m. There's a couple of reasons for this. Number one, remember earlier I talked about those like nighttime sugar cravings. If you are eating more protein throughout the day, earlier in the day, you are going to have much less nighttime and sugar cravings later on in the day. A lot of people don't know this, and this is why when people ask me about intermittent fasting, not that intermittent fasting is inherently bad, but a lot of times it does not allow you to get a high amount of protein earlier in the day. And I have just seen, coaching thousands of people by now, a lot of times people will end up overeating at night because they're not eating enough during the day. So this is a great way to fight against those nighttime cravings, which will help you lose weight. And then number two to that, if again, let's just say you're trying to get 150 or 130 or whatever your protein goal is, if you go into dinner time and you've only eaten 26 grams of protein, but you have to hit 120, good luck getting 100 grams of protein at dinner. Even if you do it, your stomach is probably going to be wrecked. So this is a great way to make sure you're, getting yourself and setting yourself up for success with hitting your protein goal for that day, being less hungry throughout the day, which is going to control your overall calories, which is going to help you lose more weight. And again, we talked earlier about these two things. Maybe you have eggs plus egg whites at breakfast now. Maybe you throw in a protein shake. Maybe you do a little bit more Greek yogurt as a snack. There are different ways you can get this in, but this will really help you, I promise. And the last one's a bit controversial, I'm not going to lie, but I would encourage you, and I would almost kind of challenge you, if you're really struggling to get more protein, I would almost challenge you to not eat any of your fun foods before you hit your protein goal for that day. So let's say, for example, your protein goal is 120 grams, and like maybe you like to enjoy some ice cream, maybe you like to enjoy some Oreos. It's not that you can't have these things. You're simply choosing not to have these foods until you're at the very least close to your protein goal. And I think this is a couple of things. Number one, if let's say you choose not to have these foods until you're closer to your protein goal, when you do have those foods, you're gonna have them in much more moderation. You will binge on them, you will overeat on them a lot less because you've had so much protein earlier in the day. What have we been talking about? You're not gonna be as hungry, you're not gonna have as many cravings, and so now you won't end up overeating on those kinds of foods nearly as much. It's not that you can't have those foods. You, like, literally every single night I have three, I'll say this in the later part of this when I show you my favorite high protein snacks, but I have Oreos every single night. So I'm not saying you can't have them, but I am saying try to get close to your protein goal before you have these foods. I think it'll also somewhat incentivize you to hit your protein goal and get closer to your protein goal if you know that, all right, once I get closer to my protein goal, I can start to work in some of these fun foods. I almost think of it as like paying your bills. What happens when you get your paycheck? When you get your paycheck, what you have to do first is pay your bills. You're not going out and buying Gucci purses and going out to eat and doing all these crazy things until you pay your bills first. This is a great way to think about these fun foods before you incorporate them into your diet. Pay your bill of hitting your protein goal first. Now, with all this being said, now you have some knowledge. I'm gonna go into my exact 3 favorite high protein snacks that I personally eat throughout my day. My first favorite high protein snack is gonna be my protein cereal, and here's what I do. I take a protein shake and I mix it up, and I personally just mix it up in water. Again, this is the protein shake I use. It's super low calorie, super high protein. It tastes great. If you wanna try them out, the link will be in the description of this video as well. But I just make a protein shake in water, and then I pour it over my Rice Krispies cereal. And I will usually have this either before my workout or after my workout, or if I'm just like in a bind for time and I don't have a lot of time to like cook or do those sorts of things. And the reason I like this so much is because, again, you can get a good quality protein source, you can get some carbohydrates, which if you follow me on social media, if you don't, at Eric Roberts Fitness, but if you follow me on social media, people lose their minds when I tell them I eat Rice Krispies as a health coach, as a nutrition coach, as a personal trainer, but it's just puffed rice. And it's just a super easy way to get some carbohydrates that I can then use to go into my workout or use to, give me some energy the rest of the day or whatever the case may be. And I just like Rice Krispies. And I believe the way I coach people, I believe you should work in your favorite foods in moderation if you enjoy them, because that's what actually makes your diet sustainable. But that gives me anywhere from, again, 20 to 50 grams of protein, depending on how much protein shakes, how much protein powder I use. And if I'm feeling really frisky, I'll throw a banana in there as well, just to get some extra fruit. Now, the second one might sound kind of weird, but stick with me. So the first thing I will do is I will take that Greek yogurt, actually the same Greek yogurt that I just showed you earlier. I will mix that with frozen, yes, frozen strawberries, and then I will mix that with sugar-free syrup. And I have all these ingredients here below, so give me 1 second, I'll pull them up for you. But what I do is I take the low-fat Greek yogurt that's super high in protein, I put it into a bowl, then from there, I will take my frozen strawberries and I will put them in that bowl. Yes, I eat them frozen. I don't know why, but to me, this is a great dessert to me. It's something sweet, it's something cold. It reminds me of like eating regular ice cream, which I'll talk about ice cream in a second. But I take these two things and then I'll just kind of mix it up with some sugar-free maple syrup. Now, that right there is good enough as itself. But what I also do is I take a Jell-O packet, so this one is cheesecake flavored, and I'll mix that in that bowl, and I'll even throw on top as well some sugar-free chocolate syrup. And I know, again, people might be like, oh my God, sugar-free, oh my God. Listen, if I'm trying to be on a calorie deficit and I'm trying to keep my calories low, the sugar-free options are great, the low-fat options are great. This Jell-O packet is 25 calories per serving. All of this is very low calorie, very high protein, and can be very filling. If you don't already know, side note, but strawberries are one of the lowest calorie, highest volume fruits that you can buy. So this means you can eat a ton of strawberries for not a lot of calories. For a whole pound of strawberries, it's like 150 calories, and that's a lot of food. So again, helping you be full, not consume as many calories. This is the ultimate hack. Try it out. And last but not least, number 3, ice cream. And again, this is not just any ice cream. This is my Ninja Creamy ice cream. And I know if you don't have a Ninja Creamy, they are a little bit expensive, but I'm just gonna be very honest with you. Some of the members inside of my clubhouse, which again is just my online coaching program, got this for me as a birthday gift, and I cannot recommend it enough. These things taste incredible. They are super low calorie. They're very high protein. Again, all I do is I take the protein powder I showed you, I mix it up, I leave it in the freezer overnight, and then again, I use this tremendous machine to be able to have ice cream every single night as a high protein dessert, high protein snack. Or again, you could use it just throughout the day. And I take some of the Oreos and I crush it on top. I take some of the sugar-free syrup and the sugar-free syrup, and I put it on top. All super low calorie, all very high protein, and very easy. It's not like readily accessible. You have to freeze it overnight usually, but once you have it, you put it in the machine. It takes 5 minutes max to cook or to make, and you don't have to do anything, and it's ice cream. Who doesn't love ice cream? I truly hope that this video helped. And again, if you want a free protein and calorie calculator, click the link in the description of this video below.